Welcome back. Our next guest has an incredible story of overcoming adversity. Amy Dixon lost her sight when she was just 22 years old. Later, she faced another obstacle when she learned she had irritable bowel syndrome with diarrhea, otherwise known as IBS-D. Well, despite all that, Amy is a world champion paratriathlete and a motivational speaker. We're super excited to see you this morning, Amy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk just first, what inspired you to become a professional athlete?
Well, thank you for asking. I was undergoing treatment for my eye disease, which is an autoimmune condition that is an inflammatory autoimmune condition that took my eyesight. And so the treatment for that was steroids and chemotherapy in order to suppress my immune system. And the high-dose steroids led to a lot of weight gain. I gained 70 pounds to be exact. And I was very frustrated with this and decided that I wanted to do something about it. And being a former high school athlete, I swam and rode horses competitively. I decided to get back in the pool because it was one of the few things I could do safely on my own. And so I lost a little bit of weight in the pool and then hopped on a spin bike. My friend invited me to a spin class at the YMCA and started running on a treadmill while holding on to the sides. And someone through social media said, "Hey, you're swimming, biking, and running. Why don't you think about doing a triathlon?" And I said, "Wow, that sounds like fun." So she signed me up and agreed to be my guide. She was my eyes for the race. So we were tethered at my waist during the swim and the run portions. And on the bike, we rode a tandem bike. That was 3 years ago. I had so much fun that I got involved in the sport, and fast forward now, I've lost the 70 pounds and I'm on the U.S. national team.
Amy, that's incredible. Good for you. I mean, that is really impressive. Do you see anything? Can you see anything like light even?
I have 2% of usable vision out of my right eye, so it's like looking through a pinhole or a keyhole, just looking through a tiny little spot. So I have 98% of my vision is black, and my guide dog, Woodstock, who's laying by my side, is in charge of that 98%, and the 2% I'm very grateful that I have. And that's not by accident. That's because I surrounded myself with a really great team of medical professionals who have worked hard to keep that remaining 2% of vision.
Good for you, and your attitude also is awesome. Let's talk about IBS-D and how that's affected your life.
Yeah, so about 3 or 4 years ago, I was experiencing abdominal pain and diarrhea, and I tried ignoring it for a while to the point where it became so disruptive of my life and so uncomfortable that I finally started talking to one of my friends about it in the locker room one day, and she suggested I see a doctor, and I sort of scolded myself because I was so good about advocating for myself as a patient with my eye disease that I had let this slide for a long time and tried to manage it on my own with a lot of over-the-counter medications and trying a lot of different diet changes, but nothing seemed to be working for me. And so I went and saw a specialist. I saw a gastroenterologist, and it was by far the best decision I've made on the road to treatment. And he did a series of diagnostic tests and discovered that I did, in fact, have IBS-D. And at first I was really upset about the diagnosis, but I was relieved to hear that there were 16 million patients in the U.S., so I wasn't alone, and I wasn't imagining that all this was happening. It was really frustrating and happy to put a name with it. So he suggested we try a variety of different medications, both over-the-counter and prescription. And finally, after finding ones that did not work for me, I was grateful to find one that did, and that was Viberzi.
And has this changed your life significantly and improved the quality of your life, finding the right medication?
Finding the right medication to manage my symptoms was so important in order to get the right treatment. And having my doctor be a partner in that, I cannot be more grateful for being able to manage the abdominal pain and diarrhea that I was experiencing. You know, this drug may not be for everyone, but it's certainly something worth talking to your doctor about. You know, there's some great resources out there. We live in a wonderful time as far as medical discovery and research is out there. So you can go to ibsdandamy.com to learn more about my journey with IBS-D and the solutions that I was able to come up with through my doctor, and tools on how to talk to your doctor and, you know, rip that Band-Aid off and have a frank discussion. It can be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's important because, you know, why suffer longer than you have to?
Absolutely. It was great to talk to you, Amy. Congratulations to you on your success athletically, as well as just maintaining a positive attitude. I really appreciate your openness.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very grateful to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you again. And the website that Amy just mentioned is IBSDandamy.com to find out more about her story and the treatment that's worked for her.